Time for our weekly conversation with Pride of the Jaguars running back Fred Taylor. Week one is finally here, Fred. The Jaguars and the Dolphins, the offseason, all the hype, all the talk. Well, it's almost over. We're talking right now. What's up? How are you?
Hey JP, listen, how long do we have to wait for football from Super Bowl to now? Is it 6 months or 5, 6 months or something? Listen, I found a better love this offseason for hockey. My Florida Panthers won. I'm starting to learn and like baseball a bit more. Still haven't been to a game, but I've made a lot of friends throughout my travels with the pivot that play MLB that are inviting me to a game. So I think I'm gonna go check out a Yankees game, but still, it's not football. It is not football. The Olympics were great this off season, which kind of filled that void a little bit. But here we are, opening day, Jaguars, Dolphins, interstate rival, and I pray this time around that the team from the North wins because last weekend, what my Gators did versus another team from the South, so embarrassing. So I got one more shot at it.
Fred, when you think of the Miami Dolphins, the first thing I think a lot of people think of is the just incredible speed that they have on offense
Yeah.
in so many places. So, how do you slow this team down?
Well, it starts with the four down lineman, that new look front, the interior. You know, you added Eric Armstead. You went out and you paid Josh Allen Hines. You paid him a ton of money. So expectations are high. You believe you're improved there. If Josh can carry over what he did a year ago, what he closed in close to, what was it, 15 sacks? How many sacks? I forget how many sacks he had, but he
17
had a
and a half.
17 and a half personal record. So I believe, that four down lineman, they're going to have to show that, look, we have to get after Tua. If we can get after Tua and bang him around, that's going to slow everything else down. He doesn't have the strongest arm in the NFL. As a matter of fact, he's on the bottom half of weak arms. So don't allow him to get back set up so he can launch the ball to those guys because they have a Olympic 4x100 style type offense at receiver at the receiver position. And then when you look at the backfield with Raheem and Achan, they got some guys that can really go from that position as well. So you really have to get after the quarterback, slow them down, and on the flip side, offensively, sustaining a run game. If you keep them off the field by running the ball efficiently and effectively, then you give yourself a better chance at slowing that big high-powered offense down.
Fred Taylor with us, and yeah, let's touch on this Jaguars offense. If you're gonna run the ball and run the clock and keep them on the sideline, it starts on that offensive line, and that's been a focus of this offseason. Of course, we'll find out pretty quick. Have they done enough in the interior for those short yardage situations to protect the
Right.
pocket from the middle in front of Trevor? This is where it starts for the Jags this year.
Yeah, it's always going to start with the offensive line. That group a year ago, I thought they had played decently. Uh, Ezra Cleveland, coming in there, he did well. I believe this year, if they stay healthy, this will be the best offensive line group that we've seen out of the Jaguars in the past several years. I mean, they have a nice collection of young guys and veteran guys, bringing in Mitch Morse this past offseason as an anchor there in the middle. I really believe this offensive line can show that they've been the best maybe since, Baselli and Big Cersei. It's been that long since we've had some dogs up front. And the running game. It goes back. Sometimes teams weigh the offensive line success on the run game and how many sacks they give up. I think it goes a bit further than that because it also comes down to mental errors in there. You don't want to play. I have a lot of mistakes from that group or communication bust. So I believe with the veteran leadership they have in the center, and then you kind of branch that out to the outside there, they're going to play well.
Brett, how about this? You mentioned Tua, but the quarterback matchup as a whole, both quarterbacks got paid this offseason. Tua Tagovailoa, of
Yes,
course,
they did.
and
$500 million out there.
it's a lot of money on
Half
the
a
field.
billion.
A lot of money on the field, and this is the matchup that a lot of people look forward to, and then the coaching matchup. This is different styles and approaches. Doug Peterson has been at this for a long time. Has won a Super Bowl. Mike McDaniel, up and
Yeah,
coming young guy with a flashy offense. I mean,
yeah.
these are two different dynamics here.
Yeah, very much so, JP. But you have one who's won the big game. Doug's won the Super Bowl, so he's leading in experience. Mike, he's he's just a great person, man. I just like to sit there with him and just hear him talk. Like his mind, the way his mind works, I think is beautiful. And that from just a normal conversation standpoint, it carries over to what he is as a coach, how creative he is as an offensive mind. And these younger coaches, you'll see Doug likes to go for it on fourth down. These young guys, they don't flinch either. So I think that's the only similarity we'll see in these guys is that they're very aggressive. Let's just call it that. But I hope that experience outweighs youth in this one, and Jaguars come back home with a victory.
Well, we're off and running, Fred. We'll do this again next week before the Browns game, and we'll talk to you then. Appreciate
See,
it.
that's what I want to hear the commentators say about Travis Etienne. He's off and running. That'll make more. That'll make my early season prediction, which I'll just say Jaguars win. I won't put a score to it, but obviously I'm the most optimistic person in the world. So Jaguars win. We'll talk about it in post game.